Brilliance Audio presents Dark Pattern by Andrew Mayne. Performed by Will Dameron. Under a dull gray sky, the nose cone of the West Air double-decker jetliner is resting inches over the clay shingles of a two-story house in an Austin suburb. Fire-suppressing foam is spilling out from backyards like snow, while emergency crews are trying to pump thousands of gallons of jet fuel into two tanker trucks parked in the street. I roll down the window so I can get a better view of the outermost starboard engine, barely visible through a gap between the houses. It looks like a black metal nest ripped apart by the hands of an angry god. "Amazing that nobody died," says Deputy Redis from the driver's seat of the SUV, taking me through the disaster zone. 20 minutes ago, I'd been lost in my own world, less than 8 miles from the crash site, when a loud knock came at the door. I could tell from the staccato rhythm that it was law enforcement. My heart raced as I worried which of my many misdeeds could have finally caught up with me. "Dr. Cray?" Redis had asked at the door. My girlfriend, Jillian, was at her bakery cafe taking care of the influx of Little League baseball teams that flooded in on Cupcake Saturdays. "Yes," I replied, studying his uniform and wondering if I was about to be served a warrant. "You're needed at the crash site." Crash site? I'd heard sirens in the distance, but hadn't connected them to anything in my world. "The West Air jumbo jet? It just went down an hour ago." He saw the confusion on my face. "A few miles from here. You're on the list." The list? In my experience, there are good lists and bad lists. Being on a list connected with an airplane crash didn't sound like a good thing. My mind raced, and I thought of Jillian. "Where exactly did it crash?" "Sagebrook." I exhaled with relief. That was the opposite direction from Jillian. "The pilot took it down over the conservation land. Nobody was hurt, that we know of. Now, if you'll come with me—" I didn't move. "I'm not sure I understand." "Agent Lowell from the Department of Homeland Security sent me to get you." I didn't know a Lowell at DHS. "Why?" Redis shrugged. It seemed genuine enough. "I was told to bring you to the staging area." Okay, that was a mild relief. If he'd said the police station or DHS headquarters, I'd expect to be arrested. Still, I hesitated. Redis stared at me for a moment. "You really haven't been watching the news?" "No." "Every airport in the country is shut down right now. Every airplane is grounded," he explained. He glanced to the side, as if to make sure we were alone, then said in a lower voice, "They think this might be part of a terrorist attack. A big one." After we'd left my house, I checked the news on my phone and asked Redis questions as he drove us through traffic with sirens wailing. He didn't know much beyond what I saw on CNN, Fox, and Twitter. Way more guesses than facts. Generally, I find it a good idea to wait a day or so before forming an opinion about a crisis, because the first 24 hours are usually filled with bullshit speculation by reporters paid by news channels to fill the air with baseless observations, while the internet is taken over by people who prefer to speak first and think last. Our SUV passes the front of the plane and nears the end of the block, where another deputy waves us through a barricade and directs us to a middle school parking lot. I follow Redis out of the vehicle and into Eagle Bluff Middle School. The halls are filled with police, federal agents, and every other type of responder you'd expect to find at a disaster like this. Classrooms have been turned into mini command centers as responders deal with the many spin-off crises an event like this creates. Besides the immediate problem of what happened, someone has to figure out where to put the survivors or how to get them home. I can hear a woman on a cell phone asking a hotel how many rooms they have available. Someone else is patiently dealing with a resident yelling at them over the phone about when they can re-enter their home. From the barking coming from the cafeteria, I can tell they've already dealt with the four-legged passengers from the cargo hold. "This way," says Redis, as he directs me to a door protected by 2 Army National Guardsmen holding M4 rifles. "This is Dr. Cray." I'm ushered into the gymnasium, where dozens of scattered tables host people working on laptops. I spot FBI, DHS, ATF, and several other three-letter acronym jackets spread around the space. Reddest leads me to a woman with a DHS jacket. She has dark, curly hair pulled back into a practical ponytail. Suntanned to the point of making her look a few years older than she probably is, she wears an intense expression that I'd hate to have focused on me in anger. Even in a room full of high-testosterone law enforcement males, something tells me she'd be the alpha.